बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। क्लास कैसे हैं आप लोग? मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आप लोग सब ठीक ठाक होंगे, खैरियत से होंगे अपने अपने घरों में और अपना पूरा ख्याल कर रख रहे होंगे। क्लास ये आज आपका जो है छठा लेक्चर है ऑनलाइन क्लासेस का जो सिलसिला शुरू हुआ है। जैसे कि आपको पता है कि हम लोग जो टॉपिक कवर कर रहे हैं वो मॉडल्स फॉर पॉलिसी एनालिसिस, जिसमें हम सिस्टम मॉडल को और इंस्टीट्यूशनल अप्रोच जो है वो इंस्टीट्यूशनल मॉडल जो है उसको हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं इन डिटेल। आज जो हम मॉडल करने जा रहे हैं बच्चों, उस मॉडल का नाम है रैशनल पॉलिसी मेकिंग मॉडल। Before going into the detail of this model for policy making and for policy analysis, you should know one thing, that what is rationality? What is meant by the concept of rationality? कि rationality कहते किसे हैं? rationalism और rationality क्या चीज़ होती है? इसकी जो एक सिंपल टर्म्स इन इकोनॉमिक टर्म्स हम इसको अगर डिफाइन करें, it simply means that when you make a choice, you will choose the thing you like the best. This is very different from the way we normally think about rationality. Usually when we talk about rationality, we use it to mean sensible, reasonable or wise. जो रैशनैलिटी है या जिसको रैशनलिज्म बोलते हैं, it regards reason, and reason is the chief main source and test of knowledge, and that reason is a source of knowledge and it is also a source of justification of that knowledge as well. It is more than a methodology or a theory in which the criteria is truth, intellectual, but not sensory. Rationality believes that reality has a logical structure, that there are some truths which exist in our society, but these truths can be directly understood by the intellect. For that reason, rationalist theorists assert that there are some certain principles of rationality exist in logic. They are logically possible. Rationalists believe that, and they have their confidence that reason and empirical proof of any evidence is regarded as unnecessary to ascertain certain truths. अगर मैं इसको आसान ज़बान में आपको बताऊं कि there are significant ways in which our concept and knowledge are gained independently of sense experience. वो आपको कहते हैं ना कि भाई मेरी छठी हिस्स मुझे कह रही थी कि ऐसे नहीं करना, ऐसे करोगे तो ये नुकसान होगा, मैं इससे बच गया, या मैंने नहीं सुना तो मुझे ये नुकसान हुआ। तो ये जो कंसेप्ट ऑफ नॉलेज है, सत्रहवीं सदी में जो राइज था, जो अर्ली पीरियड का रैशनलिज्म का, اس کا ایک سسٹمیٹک اسکول آف فلاسفی تھا جو تاریخ میں پہلی دفعہ سامنے آیا، جس کا جو بلیو کرتے تھے کہ اور اس کا جو ماڈرن ویسٹرن تھاٹ ہے ان جنرل، اس کے اوپر بہت زیادہ پروفاؤنڈ انفلوئنس تھا. سیاست میں ریشنلزم جو ہے since the age of enlightenment, historically, politics of reason, centered upon rational choice, secularism, irreligion, they have their firm belief in it. اگر میں آپ کو اس کا ہسٹوریکل پرسپیکٹو بتاؤں ریشنلزم کا، کہ کون سے وہ فلاسفرز تھے who believe in rationality، جس میں ایک پیتھاگورس ہے، پلیٹو ہے، اب جو بیک گراؤنڈ ہے ریشنلزم کا کہ ریشنلٹی اپیلز ٹو ہیومن ریزن ایز اے وے آف obtaining knowledge، کہ یہ انسانی کو اپیل کرتا ہے، انسانی عقل کو، کہ وہ کس طرح سے اپنا نالج جو ہے اس کو ایکوائر کرے، obtain کرے. اس کی بھی ایک بہت پرانی ہسٹری ہے، دس اسٹارٹ فرام دا پیریڈ آف اینٹیکویٹی. میں آپ کو جو بتانا چاہ رہا ہوں کہ جو ریشنلسٹ فلاسفی ہے اس میں جو سب سے پہلا تھا تھیورسٹ پیتھاگورس، یہ ان مغربی فلاسفر میں سے تھا جو ریشنلسٹ انسائٹ کے اوپر بہت زیادہ بلیو کرتا تھا اور اسٹریس دیتا تھا. حالانکہ وہ اس کو ایک گریٹ میتھمیٹیشین اور سائنٹسٹ کے طور کے اوپر جانا جاتا ہے، اور آپ کو پتہ ہے کہ آپ لوگوں نے بھی میٹرک میں پڑھا گا پیتھاگورس تھیورم، جس کی وجہ مشہور ہوئی وہ پیتھاگورس تھیورم ہے جو اس کے نام کے اوپر اس کا نام رکھا گیا. پیتھاگورس جو تھا وہ بلیو کرتا تھا کہ جو ہارمونیز ہوتی ہیں دیٹ ریفلیکٹ دی الٹیمیٹ نیچر آف ریئلٹی، وہ حقیقت کی جو ہے عکاسی کرتی ہیں. اس کے بعد جو تھا ایک اور پلیٹو، Plato held rational insight to a very high standard. He taught on the theory of forms, which asserts the highest and most fundamental kind of reality. That is not the material world of change known to us today. In fact, Plato admired reason, especially in geometry. اور اس کے بعد آیا ایرسٹوٹل. اس کا جو بیسک کنٹریبیوشن تھا ریشنلٹی کے حوالے سے، یہ بلیو کرتا تھا کہ جو ریشنلسٹ تھنکنگ ہے was due to the use of logic, and that logic can be used in an argument, جس کو وہ سائلوجزم کا نام دیتا تھا. اب سائلوجزم کیا ہے؟ discourse in which certain things have been supposed, something different from the things supposed, result of necessary because these things are so. تو یہ تو اس کا ایک قسم کا آپ کو میں نے تھوڑے سے بیک گراؤنڈ بتانے کی کوشش کی ہے ریشنلٹی کی. ریشنلٹی ہوتی کیا ہے؟ یہ جو ریشنلٹی ہے یا ریشنلزم جس کو بولتے ہیں, اٹ از یوزڈ in the literature of social science very wisely. They are particularly used in the policy making process, and rationality is considered as the yardstick of wisdom in policy making and policy making science. What rationality demands during the policy making? It emphasizes that policy making, when you are making a policy, you have to make some choices among policy alternatives, and that policy alternatives should be based on ground realities, on rational grounds. And what is rational policy making? That is, the rational policy making is that is to choose the one of the best option from all the policy alternatives. In that regard, there was a policy maker, a political scientist named Robert Haveman. He observes that and believes that rational policy is one which is designed to gain maximum and lose minimum. When you are making a policy, and that policy will be successful if you get your goals and objectives positively or maximum. And there are some other theorists as well who regard rationality with efficiency, and they believe that a policy is said to be rational when the policy is efficient. It means the ratio between the values of achievement and the values of sacrifice is positive and higher than any policy alternative. اب میں آپ کو یہاں پہ بتاؤں کہ جو آئیڈیا آف ایفیشنسی ہے, اس کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ آپ کیلکولیشن کریں تمام قسم کی جو ویلیوز ہیں while you are making a policy. اب ویلیوز کون سی؟ اس کے سوشل اسپیکٹ بھی ہو سکتے ہیں, اس کے پولیٹیکل اسپیکٹ بھی ہو سکتے ہیں, اس کے اکنامک اسپیکٹس بھی ہو سکتے ہیں. These aspects should be sacrificed or achieved by the public policy. You cannot measure the success of any policy in terms of capital, money. It should have its some social influence as well, social gain as well, political gain as well, economic gain as well. So at the end of the day, what we have got, without discussion, that the policy makers should be rational. Then here the question arises, how a policy maker would be 100% rational? It's not an easy task to achieve. In order to be rational, a policy maker should have some qualities, abilities within themselves. Number one, he has the ability to identify and determine the goals which they want to achieve after implementing that policy. The second ability that the policymaker should have. He has the ability to rank the goals in order of importance of those goals. And the number third ability that policymaker should have, the identification of policy alternatives for achieving those goals. And the number four, the most important rational factor any policymaker should have, the cost-benefit analysis of policy alternatives. As we have discussed in our classes before, when policymakers are making the policy, they make some alternatives as well. And for each alternative, they do a cost and benefit analysis. Which factor, which option will be more beneficial, which will be more productive, which will have a positive effect on the society, or which will have a positive effect on the organization, private organization or in a public sector. So they make a cost and benefit analysis of policy alternatives. There is another political scientist, Thomas Dye. He also prescribed or suggests some requirements for policymakers in order to select a rational policy, in order to make a rational policy. He believes that when the policymakers, they are making a policy, they should always keep in mind the values of that particular society. You know, the societies have different values, norms, customs. So they all keep in mind the preferred values of that society. And secondly, he must know that how many policy alternatives are available. And thirdly, he believes that the consequences of each policy alternative should be understood while making a rational policy. Policy based on rationality, policy based on rationalism. Fourthly, he must have an idea about the ratio of achievement of the goals when he is performing a policy or studying a policy alternative. And lastly, he believes that he should select the most efficient policy alternative. That policy alternative should be most accurate, most the positive one, most the desired one, most near to the rationality. So, if that policy maker consider all these factors, then he will be able to make a rational policy, a rational public policy. There is another political scientist who describe the rational model while making a rational policy, public policy. He has also given some alternative, he has also given his arguments. What are those arguments? Number one, that the person who is making a policy, he must be faced with a given problem for that policy is supposed to make. For that policy he is supposed to make. He should know what are the problems on the ground. What are the problems faced by the society? What are the problems faced by any organization, private sector or public sector? Until and unless he is not capable of understanding what the problem is, how can you expect from him that he will make a rational policy? That is impossible until and unless he is not able to understand the problem. The second factor, or the second quality he should have while making a policy, that rational man clarifies his goal, values and objectives, and he must organize those goals, values and objectives in his mind while making a policy. Every policy, when it is executed, implemented, formulated, there are some goals they want to achieve, there are some values they want to imply, there are some objectives they want to achieve. And if the policy maker keeps these three important determinants in their mind, they are able to make a successful policy, a successful public policy. Number third, that rational policy maker should make a list of all important possible ways for achieving his goals. There must be some ways that are mentioned, made in the public policy for the achievement of those goals. For that matter, he must make a list of those important possible ways for the achievement of goals. Number four, he should have a reason, rationality, wisdom. He should be wise. You know, when you are making a policy, there are some consequences of that policy as well. He must investigate, he must observe those consequences that could come in front of him during the policy, during the study of policy alternatives. So he should have a knowledge of those consequences as well. There's a fifth point, there's a fifth ability of that policy maker, that when he was studying about the alternative and the consequences, he should compare those consequences. Which consequences has bad effect on society? Which consequences have a mild effect? Which consequences have a very moderate effects? on the society. So he should compare those consequences for the achievement of policy goals. And so the last one, and the policy, and he must opt that policy which has a less consequences as far as the achievement of goals, objectives and values are concerned. And there are some critics as well of rationalism or rationality in the social sciences as well. For example, there is a political scientist called Mr. Simon. He believes that instead of making an ideal decision, the policymakers will break the complexity of problems into small and understandable parts, and they can choose one option that is most relevant, satisfactory, which will help to avoid uncertainty in the policy making process. What does it mean? It means that the policy makers are rational intendedly, and the rationality is bounded by limited cognitive capacities. So he believes that policymakers have to make hard choices among the policy alternatives, which we have discussed in the above discussion. When the policy choice or policy alternative is chosen by the policymaker is implemented, then he has to monitor that implementation systematically, scientifically, to measure the accuracy of those expectations, to measure the achievement of goals, objectives and values more accurately. And that will be the feedback stage. That feedback stage is a very important place in the implementation of the policy, which you will see in a picture of rational model of decision making. So बच्चों, when there is a rationality, some scientists, political scientists believe that there are some constraints as well to that rationality, and those constraints could be many. For example, conflict between rational choice and a need for action. Sometimes you are supposed to take an action, but the rationality does not demand that action. So there is a conflict arise. Then that comes with the rationality and the behavior. جیسے کہ میں پہلے بتا چکا ہوں آپ لوگوں کو، جو پالیسی میکرز ہوتے ہیں، دے آر ناٹ موٹیویٹڈ ٹو میک ڈیسیجنز آن دی بیسس آف سوسائٹل گولز. They try to maximize their own rewards. That rewards, that nature of rewards could be power gaining, status seekers, money loving. So here the conflict arises. There was a particular situation. Let me give you an example کہ جیسے آج کرونا کی سچویشن جو ہے پاکستان میں بہت ورس اور الارمنگ ہوتی جا رہی ہے ہر گزرتے دن کے ساتھ. اب اس میں ریشنل چوائس کیا ہے؟ ریشنل چوائس یہ ہے کہ پورے ملک کے اندر باقی دنیا کی طرح ایک لاک ڈاؤن، ایک کرفیو کی سچویشن آئندہ 3-4 ہفتوں کے لیے 5 ہفتوں کے لیے لگا دی جائے، لوگوں کو گھروں تک محصور کر دیا جائے. یہ ایک نیڈ فار ایکشن کی ضرورت ہے، جو میں بات آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں، جو مثال دے رہا ہوں. اب اس میں ریشنلٹی کا عنصر جو ہے وہ کہتا ہے کہ لاک ڈاؤن نہ لگایا جائے. اگر آپ لاک ڈاؤن لگائیں گے اس میں پھر ایک فیکٹر ہے، آپ کی اکنامک کنڈیشن جو ہے دیٹ از ناٹ گڈ. آپ کی 25% سے زیادہ آبادی غربت کی لکیر سے نیچے رہتی ہے. ایک بہت بڑی تعداد ہے آپ کے ملک میں جو ڈیلی ویجز پہ کام کرتے ہیں. جب 3, 4, 5, 6 ہفتے ان کو کام نہیں ملے گا تو what they will do؟ کورونا سے مرنے کی بجائے وہ بھوک سے مر جائیں گے، فاقوں سے مر جائیں گے. So here is the conflict between rational choice and a need for action. میں امید کرتا ہوں کہ اس مثال سے آپ کو یہ کنفلکٹ جو ہے سمجھ آ جائے گا. اب دوسری جو ہے وہ ہے ڈائلیما آف پولیٹیکل فیزیبلٹی. واٹ از ڈائلیما آف پولیٹیکل فیزیبلٹی مین؟ اب پولیٹیکل فیزیبلٹی کا مطلب ہوتا ہے کہ پروبیبلٹی. کہ جو پالیسی آپشنز ہیں that would be adopted and implemented by the political system. اور یہ جو politicians ہیں they are often resolve the dilemma of political feasibility. How? By avoiding the conflictual situations. Who makes the policy? Who are the actors of policy making? میں نے آپ کو بتایا تھا بیوروکریٹس، پولیٹیشینس، میں سے آفیشیل، نان آفیشیل ایکٹرز، آفیشیل ایکٹرز اور انٹرنیشنل ایکٹرز. So if any conflictual situation arise, a political situation arise, so the politician has the ability to avoid that conflict. And when the conflict arises, when there are studying the alternatives of policy, some they want to implement the previous policies, some are thinking about they should make, and they are supposed to make new policy alternatives for any particular reason. So if there is a conflict arise, then it is the politicians, they can avoid that conflict. Sometimes they postpone the decisions, sometimes they postpone the decision making process or during the policy making. So there are different, dilemmas and feasibility is concerned in the political process. ठीक है? अब third है problem of cost and benefit analysis. बच्चों जो cost and benefit analysis होता है while studying the different policy alternatives, it is very difficult. Because in order to calculate the cost and benefit analysis ratios accurately, so there are at stake some values of your society, and those values could be social, economic, political and cultural. And there is another thing, the idiosyncratic factors of that policy maker which have their effect on the cost and benefit analysis of policy alternatives as well. So what the policy maker likes and what the policy maker dislikes, what he thinks about the policy alternatives, it is possible one thing is right for Mr. A and that thing could be wrong for me, and if something is right for me, that could be wrong for Mr. A. So there is always chances of incapable decision making, incapable rational decision making. For rational decision making, you have to make some hard choices. You have to make some hard decisions. You have to take some hard decisions, whether you like it or you don't like it. You have to put aside your idiosyncratic factors, your personality factors, your likings, dislikings, your moods, your political beliefs, your cultural and social beliefs. You have to put aside when you're making. You have to be unbiased while doing a cost and benefit analysis. You should just believe on the ground realities. You're not supposed to act according to your desires, and so that was the problem of cost and benefit analysis. Here's the last point, nature and environment of bureaucracy. So this is your assignment. All of you give me feedback on the group regarding nature and environment of bureaucracy, how it is a constraint, how it creates a hurdle in the way of rationality, in the way of rational decision making. So just make a paragraph and send it on me. This is your assignment, and that assignment should come by tomorrow. Okay? So this was your lecture about the rational decision making. I'm sure all of you would have an understanding of what is rational decision making, how it should be performed. So take care of yourself. See you next week, and please send me your feedback about the nature and environment of bureaucracy, how it affects the rational decision making. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.